Hey everyone, my name is Naira Virika, and I'm really excited to talk about a few things today. The first of which is on Wednesday, the 9th of this month at 11 a.m., your time zone, my new track, Down the Well Again, finally drops. It's been a while in the making, and I'm actually more excited for its release than I was for Control because I really feel like I outdid myself this time. It's kind of a song about starting the process of dealing with your inner demons and dealing with the things that you've had to go through your entire life and kind of finally trying to put it all to rest so you can feel healthier and happier. And despite the very heavy tones of a lot of my music, it is all in the effort of being happier and less angry and less sad. But overall, next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m., Down the Well finally drops. And that's a good segue to this next talking point, which is Letting Go, an EP that I started working on a while ago and I just didn't really talk about because I wanted to make sure I was kind of on the right track before I started kind of talking about it. And so Down the Well Again is actually the first track on this little EP. And so you can kind of consider this a bit of a teaser for this small EP. But when it comes to the EP, chronologically speaking, it's supposed to come after My Dark Story, the four chapters of My Dark Story. Control and the other three whose names I'm not going to say yet because I don't want to spoil anything. And names could also change. But overall, Letting Go is more about sort of what's gone on the last 3 years for me, and these are things that are recent and I really need to get them off my chest so they don't stew, considering that I might not finish the tetralogy of My Dark Story for like 10 years. I don't know, and I don't want to wait 10 years to talk about these things. So Down the Well is kind of like starting to rip the Band-Aid off a little bit there and get the first one out, and then the other 6 or 7 songs will come out when they're ready. And that's kind of bringing me to this kind of talking point of mistakes I made with Control. And the main mistake that I made was setting like a release date before I was actually done, writing the songs, before I'd even started recording all the final things, and before, there was really anything to show people other than some very rough recordings. And it's because I was not really in a good place, but I was also just really excited and I got ahead of myself. And I'm not going to do that to myself anymore, which is why I waited until Down the Well Again was actually done and ready to release before I even talked about it in a video or posted about it anywhere. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm going to try and roll with moving forward until I kind of find out what my limits are, what my capabilities are, and also have a proper studio where it doesn't take so long for me to perfect ideas, because this room is not suited for recording. So I have to do what I can to make it work. Vocals are the thing I struggle with the most because most of my other stuff is recorded like DI, so I don't have to worry about the room sound and weird reflections, but I can't do that with vocals unless I hire out, which I'm not doing because I'm a singer. I love singing and belting my ass off to lyrics that I wrote and to music that I made. But overall, so that's kind of the plan for future releases. I want to actually like finish things. And then once I'm sure it's good, there's artwork, everything's mixed and mastered, I'm actually happy with everything and I don't feel like there's too much or not enough within these songs, and it's really getting across the sort of message I'm trying to send, but also the soundscape I'm trying to build, and this sort of like world I'm building within each song, but also with all the songs as a whole, then I will pick a release date for it, because that way I can be certain that I have the time required to promote it and get the word out about it, and I don't have to work on the actual music anymore because that's already done, and then it's just less stress. And again, that's like the big mistake that I made with Control. It wasn't the fact that I thought, oh, I probably could have done better if I gave myself more time. I don't think it would have sounded any different, even if I wasn't in a rush. But the stress that came along with it was too much. And I don't want to put myself through that level of stress again. And speaking of Control, which happens to be chapter 1 of the My Dark Story tetralogy, chapter 2, it hasn't started yet. I'm going to try and finish most of Letting Go, if not completely finishing Letting Go, before we actually start like doing any sort of real work on chapter 2. And when I say we, that's where the actual announcement for chapter 2 comes in. Not only am I massaging the idea of chapter 2 now and kind of preparing my brain for starting to write that part of the story, I'm not doing it alone this time, which is insanity to me. And one of the people that's working on the album with me is someone that has appeared in my music before, poorly produced music before. I really want to do a remaster of Carry You, since I have, new equipment and I can do a hell of a lot better this time. At least with the vocals. The vocals I really wasn't happy with. But that's besides the point. The guitarist, Maya Aurora, that played guitar in parts of Carry You, is actually going to be on the entirety of My Dark Story Chapter 2, which I'm really fucking excited about. Yeah, I was saving the curse word for this moment because holy fuck, I'm excited. But other than Maya, I also have another friend who I know as Silver that actually did some growls and screamo for Birth on the original My Dark Story back in 2017. And there was always a plan to get them involved in this again, because they were like the person I would send the work in progress songs to back then and get their opinion on them. And so they were very much ingrained in the sort of evaluation process of the original My Dark Story songs. So it feels amazing that they're wanting to get involved in this again. It's what I've wanted. But of course, I can't really force anyone into anything. But the fact that they want to makes me so fucking happy. So not only do I get to grasp sort of a real connection to the old My Dark Story by having someone who used to be a part of it and getting involved in the recreation, but also a new musical friend who's honestly one of the most incredible people, but also one of the most incredible guitarists I've ever had the pleasure to know, actually playing like on one of my albums. And so this album's not just going to be like written by me and then they're performing. I actually kind of have this goal to try and sort of merge the perspectives and the styles of these two other people, because while this tetralogy is like main form, or I guess the frontliner kind of goal for it is for me to heal from the things that I've been through. One of the goals that I had with wanting to make my own music at a young age, was that I wanted to write music like the bands that I listened to, Linkin Park, Disturbed, I suppose Dragon Force probably a little less so, but 3 Days Grace and whatever, they would write songs about real shit that they'd been through in an attempt to heal from it and kind of get it off their chest, but also to help other people to not feel so alone when they're going through something that's exactly the same or similar. And I want to do that. I've always wanted to tell my story so that maybe somebody else doesn't feel alone and can feel kind of understood by it. And then maybe they can go through the healing path in their future. Maybe not necessarily inspiring them to make music, but inspiring them to express themselves in whatever way helps them heal. And if I can do that, not only for the listeners of my music, but also the people who get involved in making the music with me, fucking great. That's exactly what I want. Music is a way to heal. Music is a magical tool that can heal wounds. It may not heal all of them, but any healing is good. And I speak from experience that music doesn't heal everything, but it heals a lot of them, at least for me. And so lyrically, they might write some lines that I fit into sort of my vocal style or whatever, or some guitar riffs may not have been come up with by me, lead lines, bass lines, whatever. There's a pretty good chance that I'm probably going to be playing bass and a good portion of the rhythm. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of the singing and the synth playing and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm willing to go in any direction, honestly. There are some songs that are on chapter 2 that were on the original My Dark Story, and so there are going to be like concepts that we're building upon that were my ideas originally and very well might sound very similar okay, they won't sound similar, but they'll be recognizable as those songs, but they'll be evolved and transformed by the work of 3 completely separate individuals, and I'm really excited about it. And for chapter 2, like I said about like I said about Letting Go, not going to announce a release date until all the songs are done, and I'm not going to announce that we're actually working on it until Letting Go is finished, because I don't really want to be working on 2 albums at once. That's just ridiculous. But Letting Go is getting pretty close. I'm not even going to give an estimate as to when it's done, but maybe 2026. I don't want to spend like 2 or 3 years on a small album. So I'm trying to be more efficient with my time so that things can get finished in a reasonable amount of time. And now that I have much better equipment and better skills, that's actually more possible. And my time management skills have gotten a lot better. But overall, those are the things that I wanted to talk about today, and I'm really excited. Just a reminder, Wednesday the 9th at 11 a.m. your time zone, my new track, Down the Well Again, which is more of a teaser for Letting Go, but is also its own little sort of single. Letting Go is also a project that I'm currently working on. I'll keep you updated on that when there are updates to give you. As well as chapter 2 of My Dark Story, which is a little farther away, but I'll keep you updated on that as well. Anyways, it's been a pleasure being excited and nerdy on camera about my own music, and these announcements really make me giddy. Keep an eye out for more stuff. I don't post on here very much in terms of videos, or honestly even music a lot of the time, but I'm working on being a little bit more active on here. I just don't want to post slop. I'm not trying to like make the algorithm pick me up because I'm uploading every single day or every single week. I'd rather just post real stuff. And so when there is real stuff to talk about or share, I will do that. Yeah. I'm a bad YouTuber, you know.